Welcome everyone back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 3. No, Episode 4, right?
Episode 4.
Episode 4. What happened last time?
Last time, we got a bit more of backstory. So we got sort of the other side of what was going on.
In Shiganshina.
Some crazy shit of Reiner's backstory of his... We already knew he had that personality split during his time there, but then instead it turned out that there was like even more layers to that because he was being his friend that died. He was being the leader that they needed, but it was just like, and before that he had been so obsessed with like becoming a Marleyan, and then he could be with his dad who was a Marleyan. Like it was just... And
it turns out that his mom was like pushing him towards that, even though she probably knew, definitely knew that it wouldn't work out, but she wanted the honorary status. So like, and that's why she was so pissed off at the dinner table when he was getting all emotional. Yeah.
It's definitely a super... There's a lot more going on there.
For sure.
Than you would have realized just from watching it. Like, he already seemed broken and damaged, but then seeing the 10
journey.
Different levels of that throughout his life was just... And seeing the other side of Annie as well was so interesting. How she was the one... Like, she... During, the previous seasons, she always just seemed very, put together and, we'll just do this, we'll do what we have to do, but in reality she was just wanting to leave every step of the way. She was trying to get the fuck out of there.
She just wanted to be ordinary. That's even what she said in season 1. She was just saying that what if all, during her episode before she was revealed to be the female Titan, it was just what if all I wanted to be was an ordinary girl. I'd want to be like Marlo, or who wanting to change the military police, or Eren wanting to change the frickin' world. What if I just want to be a normal person and not all this bullshit? But you now see kind of what that meant to her, is she was willing to do whatever it took just to get back to normal, and she just wanted to go back home. She didn't give a fuck about this mission or anything. She just wanted to be a normal person the whole time. Yeah. And it's crazy just what that meant for her, I guess.
Yeah, and then, of course, at the end, we got the reveal of Eren that I didn't quite pick up on immediately, but... That's all right. So now I'm wondering if we're going to get any more of that, or if we'll stay in this weird state of wondering what Eren is doing there and wondering what their whole plan is, while still mainly just following all the new characters and Reiner and stuff. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of pull it together and work that into the story that they have going right now, because we're definitely on a different track and more sympathetic to characters that if they had been introduced in a different way, you might be like, oh, they're just the bad guys, but now these are the main characters of the show, and then all the other main characters are also the main characters of the show, and there's they're on opposite sides of the war, so it's this super interesting and weird situation that they've put us as the viewer in, of oh my god, but I really like these guys, I don't want them to lose, I want them...
But it's not just that, it's also there's no difference at all between, especially before the whole the takedown of, I mean, there's historical differences and everything like that, because there's the history goes deep, but it's in terms of where each side of the characters are, it's no difference than before the Uprising arc, where the government and everything was all corrupt and had their own interests. In this, the government seems like they're willing to put people down for the sake of their own people, and it's just there's literally zero difference in terms of morality between these two sides. So it makes it even more difficult to be to choose a side, because there is no difference. It's just people fighting for their own freedom. It's the Eldians in the walls here, or the Eldians in the walls there, and that's the only difference. Is just where they are and who's above them, and the Uprising art took care of the people above them, so they're they have free reign to seek their own freedom, which means pretty rough shit for the people over here in Marley. So we're gonna see what happens there. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you leave a like and subscribe for future Attack on Titan stuff. Hope you enjoy. You can get uncuts on Patreon, but we hope you enjoy the reaction here. This is not a market substitute. Watch on Crunchyroll or wherever you can find the show. Funimation as well, and we assume you already have. But we're getting into this. Support the official release. Let's go. He called himself Eren Kruger.
収容区外のポストに投函してきてほしい。いいですよ。
Eren Kruger. By the way, who's the Eren that originally had the Attack Titan. And he's sending a letter to his family telling them that he's just fine. Oh, this show is so good.
This opening gets better every time I hear it. It really gets... At first I wasn't too sure about it. Like, I liked it. But I wasn't so sure about it. But every time I hear it, it gets better and better.
Yeah. It sounds like it could be the previous anthems and everything is what we heard for, like, the walls. Yeah. But this is, like, a sort of military anthem for like, the Marleyan side or something. Even though, well, it could apply to either, because I was gonna say, like, My Last War, that applies to Eren. It kind of applies to all of them, because they all have the Curse of Ymir. All the shifters. Okay, let's go. Tybur family, keepers of the Warhammer Titan.
They were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, they did last episode. They're not part of the military. They have, like, the classic German helmets. Oh my god, that guy's huge. Willie Tybur.
Oh wow, the kids are just fighting.
One of them is the Warhammer.
Yeah.
There's a Titan among us.
ここにはヘロス像を100年前人間でありながら大地の悪魔を打ち破り世界を救ったマーレの誇る英雄ヘロスの勇姿を
ヘロス
見事だったしく美しく傷一つないまさにマーレの魂そのものだ噂ではマーレの徴兵制復活を働きかけているとかマーレ人の戦争とは新聞の活字にのみ存在します
They use Eldians entirely for their military, for the foot soldiers at least.
Yeah.
Give them a taste of their own medicine. Hopefully that'll quell this senseless bullshit. If someone controlled Marley from the shadows.
察しの通りこの国はタイバー家の権限下にあるだがマーレが軍国主義の道を歩んだのあくまでマーレが選んだことだ、我々はマーレの食材として自由と力を
In hopes of atonement
エルディアもマーレも闇夜に投げその責任はタイバー家にある、私は来たる祭事において世界に全てを明かすつもりだ
The truth
見に来たのは嘘ではないテオマガト今一度この手を握ってくれまいか
So the Tyburs control. Oh shit. Somebody said you look like her, kinda. Oh, Reiner briefing them. There's so much land outside the walls.
That's insane.
I love the commander. So the south is what you're saying. Yes, we'll go from the south immediately. No other options. How about you make a decision? I thought you were... Exactly. He's just briefing you. He's not making the decision. Fucking so dumb. Like... Here's the information we have. Okay, well then, if that's what you're saying, then I can blame it on you if shit goes wrong. That's the stupid thing too, is they're fucking being piloted. Like entrusting the whole thing to 4 kids, yeah. Oh shit. Oh, Gabby. I think that's more of a prayer than a prediction.
Yeah.
It's more of a prayer that he won't surpass Gabby.
軍はまだ鎧の継承者を発表していない。その日が来るまで俺はやることをやるだけだ。おい、あいつカッコつけてんぞ。あんたの家は兄貴が獣を継ぐんだから、もう名誉マネージになれるのに、何のためにそこまでするの？お前のためだよ。
Those random guards are just like...
He totally said it as the guard. I love how everyone but her gets it. It's like she's the clueless dude in the relationship. Oh boy, bad luck.
It's a black cat, it's an omen of bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
just standing there.
She looking so creepy.
こちら。大掛かりな解体工事が必要だと。老朽化が深刻でしたので。おめでとう元帥殿。軍はあなたのものだ。いいえ、軍は国家のものです。そしてこの国の最高司令官はあなたです。私はソーダリンを握ったものだ。先代の誰もこれを握ろうとしなかったのがわかる。重すぎる。今すぐにでも手を離したいところだが、握らざるを得ない時代が来てしまった。私はたまたまなんだ。たまたま順番が回ってきただけの男なんだよ。家は倒壊寸前でしたが、使える柱も残っていました。その者どもによると、我が家にはすでにネズミが入り込んでいるようです。
やったじゃないか、ファルコ。クルーガーさんのおかげですよ。
Infested with rats.
それでも迷わず突き進めそうです。そうか。感謝したいのは俺の方だな。何度も手紙のやり取りを手伝ってくれて、おかげで助かった。いえ、これは家族の方からですか？病院の生活は退屈だろうってな。この体には難しい。俺も進まないとな。祭りが終わったら故郷に帰るとするよ。
Back to my hometown.
そうですか。
When have I heard that before?
先生が来ます。
Interesting how the doctors have the red bands as well.
どうぞ。
では失礼するよ。区の診療医のイエーガーだ。ここにはたまにお茶を飲みに来る。
His grandfather.
はじめまして。クルーガーです。
よろしくクルーガー君。先ほどの少年とは仲がいいようだね。そうか。私も少年とは気が合いそうだ。話し相手を探すうちにこのベンチに腰掛けたのだから。あの少年の叔父はエルディア復権派の幹部だった。復権派は楽園を送る。その家族も例外ではなかった。少年ら兄弟を守るために戦士に志願し、彼の兄が獣の拠点を得たことによってようやくグライス家は。
なぜ俺にその話を？
あの子にお使いを頼むのはおやめなさい。おかしな疑いをかけられてはグライス家の努力が無駄になってしまう。心が健康なら家族のもとにお帰りなさい。もう会えなくなる。後悔を残してからでは遅いのだ。
後悔ですか。僕に悔いがあるようですね。
後悔しない日などないよ。あの日息子は妹を連れて壁を。私が普段から厳しくしすぎたんだ。医者をつけと。私だ。全ては私だ。出歩かないでください。
すみません。少し目を離した間に。ほら、
良くなりますよ。
He's not an actual doctor, he's a patient now.
That's fucked.
Isn't that fucking crazy? And by the way, Grice was one of the lieutenants of Grisha when he was the leading the restorationist. I forgot to mention that before.
Oh, being waiters.
Yeah.
The most efficient waiters of all time.
Like it's a gun, like running in.
Holy.
Nice lady. Holy shit. Easterner from Hiruzu.
我々はつい先日まで資源を求め醜い争いを演じてまいりました。しかし昨日の敵は今日も敵。いや失礼。昨日の敵は今日の友。
Just shattering the thin veneer.
トイレ流し新たな祝杯をあげようではありません。それでは末永き平和に。
Everyone's trying to be nice and you just like fucking.
ありがとうございます。大使殿のジョークは大変でした。しかしお客様は共通語が聞き取れなかったようなので、皆様をレベリオ収容区に招待させていただきます。そこはかつて多くの国の民を虐殺した私と同じ血が流れる民族エルディア人という悪魔が住む家です。中でも最も虐げられたマーレ、その悪魔を使って他国虐げ悲劇は繰り返され、エルディア人の根治はよくわかります。私はこの終わりのない題に対して一つの回答を導き出しました。その回答を明日私が初演出を務める舞台で披露させていただきます。偉大なる劇作家と歴史の目撃者に。劇作家の目撃者に。
I thought that was gonna be the end. Oh, the festival. That was like some intense music there.
It's like the best thing of all time.
They're out of money. Pizza? She's drunk. Perfect place to end
That
it.
was so good. Also, someone commented on something else and said that there's an after credits.
Okay.
So.
一体どうしたんだ。
行けばわかりますよ。こちらです。来ましたよ。4年分だな、ライナー。
暗い地下室でエレンとタイ
You do not want to watch that preview.
No.
That cliffhanger, that's Attack on Titan's greatest strike.
I didn't expect
it to happen this early.
I didn't expect just like casually like, hey Falco, go and get Reiner. Just bring him down into this weird cellar for me. There's nothing weird about this. Just bring him down here. It'll be fine. And Falco's just like, yeah, come on. You'll be so excited about this. It's awesome. And Ryder's just like,
yeah, okay.
yeah, sure. I mean, we're going down into this cellar, but that's okay if anything.
He completely let his guard down, like 100% after today. Oh, it's so good. I didn't expect them to do it like that, because as I remember, I don't remember it being as subtle like that. Like, maybe I'm misremembering, because it has been like more than a year or two since I read it. But it was like, it was more of like a building thing where like it was cutting like around, and then I don't know, it just kind of happened really fast because obviously it was the after credit. But yeah, this is so good.
Next episode is gonna be wild. I can already tell. Oh my god.
Ooh,
They're like, they set up so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like this whole like play or whatever that's gonna be going on.
This announcement.
Yeah, it's thing. Like they're like talking about like, oh yeah, this is gonna be
the
like,
solution.
Yeah, to all of our problems.
What do you think it's going to be? What do you think they're?
I don't know. I'm wondering what it's entailing, and I don't know, because it seems like the Tyburs want a shift, because they were talking about like the Marleyans were sort of like oppressed, but then they just started like, instead of like, and then the Tyburs were like, oh well, we'll just leave it to them and it'll all get sorted out, and instead they got like way too big and started crushing
swung in the other direction.
Yeah, it went too, like, they thought, oh well, maybe we'll just go back to the middle and we can all live in peace.
But it went far to the right, I guess.
And then they just started like destroying everyone. So now they're like, well, it's a bit late to try and get them to do it by themselves.
They're like a child that was like horribly abused or like a person who was horribly abused as a child, and now they just do that in their life. That's the way that they handle everything. Except they have a conveniently like Marley they don't have to actually fight their own battles, because they conveniently have a subjugated people that they can send in as foot soldiers.
That's the interesting thing. What's that guy's name again?
Willie or Magath?
Yeah, Magath. It's interesting how he sees that as well, of like, yeah, all these Marley, they're so eager to rush off to war because there's no consequences for them.
Yeah.
And if any of them, like, if we just took even some of them and put them on the front lines,
there would be more awareness.
This wouldn't be going on.
It would be so violent, because he obviously doesn't want Marleyans to fucking die. He just wants like significantly less people overall to die. He wants to stop invading random countries. They're in a
constant state of war. If a country says, oh, we have all these soldiers that are of no consequence to us whether they live or die, and there's like 1 million of them, we can just do whatever we want. We want to go conquer these people, let's just go do it, because we can't. It's just really messed up.
We have the Titans not only, and then we have like an army of mindless soldiers. Who will do whatever just for a chance of their family, like based out of fear, completely out of fear. Because if I don't rush into the breach, then they're gonna fucking feed my family to dogs,
or turn them into
Titans. Yeah.
It's such a messed up thing.
It's really screwed up. So yeah, the Eren's grandfather.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't recognize him at first. That's why I was like, oh, the doctors have that too. And then I was like, oh no, it's just because he's
related to Zeke.
He's like Zeke's family that gets the special armband. But he's still dressed like a doctor. That's like such a messed up thing. He's so messed up by it that he's almost in this delusion that he's like, they let him sort of play along with that he's still a doctor. Yeah. So that he's not freaking out all the time.
Yeah. And I love how it's revealed, because like there's the shot in the hallway or whatever where the nurse like looks and is like, oh shit, and then runs out.
And it's interesting because they look and you're like, oh, is she just suspicious
of Eren? Yeah.
Of Eren, or are they catching on or something? Yeah. And then it's like, no, she's just concerned because her patient is getting all riled up. Yeah. Outside.
Because whenever he like sits on that bench and finds, like, cause that's what he said. He's like, I sit on this bench every day and wait for someone to talk to. Which is so fucking sad. And it's also interesting because you see him, but he's not, he's wearing a completely different outfit before when he greets Zeke, when he and his wife greet Zeke. Yeah, but
he's obviously on, like a
little leave to, outside.
They let him out for a day or two to spend time with his family and then bring him back.
Yeah. It's so fucked up, and it's so, incredible to see that come full circle, because it's not his fault. He was just trying to protect his family in his way, but he didn't have the same, like, he didn't have the same naive anger, rage to just to destroy the world and, like, and rule its, or, like, bring it back up from the ashes and, like, do whatever it takes to have freedom, even if it means everything is destroyed, that Eren and Grisha had. It's like, he doesn't have that same thing, so his answer to keep his family safe was to cower and to, you know, lay low, keep everyone on the down low, and even if they killed my daughter and fed her to dogs, I can still save my son. But Grisha was obviously too young to, well, he did kind of realize what he was doing, but he was too young to realize what the alternative was. Yeah. So, and that's what we see in the wharf when he's about to be turned into a Titan and he gets the Attack Titan, is he's, like, completely given up. He's just like, if I knew that this was the path I was on, I wouldn't have taken it. And of course it turns around and he does keep going down the path, obviously, but, like, it's just so crazy to see it all come full circles, that, like, his father even has regrets about his path and the direction that he went down. It's so interesting, and it's so like fucked up, but it's also super satisfying in a way to see it sort of tied off like that. Like, it's so terrible. And, like, God, that's so awful and, like, really sad. But it's also, in a weird way, satisfying to see that sort of
even though you,
together.
Like, don't really want it to be like that. But I guess it's better than if he was just off living the good life.
Exactly.
Now, and, like, being like, oh, well, now that my grandson is doing this, now I get special treatment instead. He's never recovered from even the first incident that happened in that series of events. So, yeah. Yeah, it's super terrible, but it's there's, like, a weird sense of, I don't know even what to call that feeling, but it's just, from a narrative perspective, it's really cool to see them bring that back and at least give credence to it and have some other dimension other than, he's just living the good life. But, so also one of the, Tyburs in that room was the Titan. We don't know which one. So, that's interesting. We don't know if it's Willy or if it's someone... Do you think it's Willy? Dang, I want to get a picture. Because when I was reading the manga, there's, like, a panel of all of them in the room, and you can kind of see, and I had fun guessing. In this one, it's right? Like... I don't know. I would really wonder if it was like, one of the older people. And like... Obviously, I don't think the literal children, that would just be not a great way to run your family, I don't think.
Because they're, like, way younger than, like, Gabby and them, clearly.
And even then, I don't think it's, like, since they have this to their family and they get to plan it out, I doubt that it would be, like, oh yeah, I want to kill my own child before they turn 20 or
when they're,
whatever.
like, super young,
because it's more of a curse. So I would wonder if it was maybe someone of, like, middle age or around that, or I don't know. I can't guess who it would be. I don't think it's one of the kids, and I think it would be maybe too obvious if it was Willy. Although it like would also make sense. But he seems to, like, really, like, be handling the family. Like, he said he's, like, the head of the family, and he's the one who does all the things, so it maybe also wouldn't make sense for it to be him unless he had recently acquired it or something. Because if you have the guy who's, like, really good at dealing with everyone else and keeping it so that they don't come and just take it from you, you wouldn't necessarily want to sentence them to only 13 years left of being able to sort that out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And he would be also, like, a target, potentially, if anyone did want to mess with them. So I'm not sure.
And what did you think of that whole conversation with frickin' Willy and Magath, where Willy's just, like...
rats in the house?
The rats in the house, and then it cuts to Eren, and, like, Willy's, like, freaking out, and, like, it's just, it fell upon me. It all fell upon me, I guess. It's no one chose this. I didn't choose this. No one's forcing it on me, but the responsibility just fell on me, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm simply the one who holds the wheel.
No, I know what yeah. I guess it's because, like, technically they've been, like, controlling it from behind the scenes, but even though it's been going in the direction that they didn't intend.
Well, because they never tried to move
that's
direction.
what I'm saying. It's just been going that way, but they've always been too afraid to actually take any action against it, and that's how it's gone so far. Mm-hmm. And now it's at the point where he doesn't really have a choice. Mm-hmm. So
again, and I love the clearly German inspired soldiers at the beginning of the Tybur's personal guard. Mm-hmm. How they have like the spiked helmet, the classic, you know. It's really cool, but it's also interesting that the fact that they're Eldians with like they're like,
I know they like
in the highest
and
possible.
Everyone loves them. From all the other like politicians, I guess, from the other countries, all think that they're just so awesome. They literally cheer.
Yeah.
When he just stands in front of them.
And then he talks to all these specific people, like all these people from other countries.
Oh yeah, remember
when we were kids and we climbed that tree and you fell down and got that scar on your hand, and he's like traveled the world and met and spent time with different, you know, families.
And it's so interesting because it just goes to show how, like, dumb and prejudiced all these people are, because they think that he's awesome. Like, oh, well, he's not like the other people like him because he's, like, rich and in good standing, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just extra fucked because they think that he's awesome, but then the waiters, they're like, oh, no wonder this food is disgusting.
Yeah.
You know? Also, the one lady, just awesome, totally saves the day.
The lady from Hiruzu is the country. And she called it a kimono, so that means that it's like fully a sort of Japanese inspired thing, and it's obviously like based on the clothing, it's clearly Japanese inspired. I haven't seen many Asian people in this story, weirdly enough, and it's funny to realize when in an anime when it's like, oh shit, there haven't been any Asian people in this story. Now that I think of it. And it's like clearly, I think the symbol on her, there's two symbols on her back. And they're, I'm pretty sure they're both from different historical clans from Japan. Yeah, there's this one right here, which is one of the famous clans, and there's that one there with the three swords. But yeah, clearly Japanese inspired. And an Easterner, the only other Eastern person that we've seen in the story is
Mikasa.
And
her mom.
And her mom, yeah, who is full-blooded Easterner person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just interesting to see like that lady's like so nice, and then she just leaves. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder.
Well, she just left to go change.
Yeah, she left to go change, but I wonder if we'll see her again, or if it was just a one-time thing to show that other people can be nice. It was also interesting. What's the guy in their little group with the glasses name?
Udo.
It's interesting that he was from a different country in a different internment zone, and apparently in this one they actually have a pretty good life compared to some other countries where the other countries can't use them for anything, I guess. Like here at least they're like, oh well, we'll keep them healthy and in shape so that they can go off and fight this war for us.
Yeah.
Whereas in other countries they probably just
I wonder what country.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, do all countries have that, or just some where there was a higher population? It's just really interesting.
It must be around there. And he looks by. So here's the thing is, I think I forget, is Levi a French name? Because he looks kind of like an Ackerman, you know? Like, so maybe it's like a more Western Europe, maybe like their version of France or something like that, because Levi, the Ackermans kind of have a similar thing, although I think that Ackerman isn't I forget what name Ackerman is. I think it might be like Jewish or something. I can't remember. But yeah, so I was just noticing there's like some similarity. Oh my god, the monitor's just oh my god, the monitor's freaking out. I wish you guys could see it. Yeah. I just noticed the resemblance between him and and Levi as a kid, and Kenny and Levi's mom. I noticed just like in terms of the eye color, the hair color, and sort of the face shape, but I could be wrong on that.
Oh yeah, Falco. After discussing things with Eren, now he's fully trying to save Gabby as best he can, and if he can't, then at least he's doing something.
Yeah. Which
is interesting. And Gabby's just all pissed off, and everyone else, even those random guards that were just
understand
there,
why he's
are
doing
like,
it.
Oh my god.
He totally said it, or whatever. Yeah, that was funny.
That was
yeah,
awesome.
this is a good episode. I love in the whole festival thing how
and
they're just having
they're all
so
eating.
much
They
fun.
waste all their money, and then all the like other people are like, oh, I guess we can pay for them to have a good time.
Yeah, it's like the only festival they'll probably ever have. But that it's so fucking awesome. It's so funny. I love when Gabby wakes up and she's just like, and then the other kids come up and they're like, Gabby, look at all this shit.
She's like, ah!
It's so good. It's just, I love how extra it is.
It's so funny. But it's so like sad that they've never had anything like that fun or exciting before. It's really sad.
And then there's Gabby saying like a lot of new things have been happening, and then Ryder's like, yeah, feels like something's gonna change. Yeah.
I also feel like something's gonna change.
And then he walks, and then he like
now he's in the cellar,
and then we'll see what happens. And it's
I'll be so interested to see what like.
Who do you think Eren's sending letters to?
Other people, like I don't know who specifically, but probably maybe other people who have sort of infiltrated the area, maybe like because he's probably not the only one in like Marley. Somewhere. I don't know where they could be hiding out though.
There's only one way to find out. Oh, and he said last episode that like he didn't want to see he's not ready to see his family yet or something. But yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens next episode of Attack on Titan. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the Uncut on Patreon if you want to see our full reaction. If you are on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. We hope you like and subscribe. See you next week. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.